Thanks so much. I'm not too tall, am I? Happy New Year to everybody, and it's great to see you all, and I hope you have a great New Year. And you know, when we come up here and we talk about Israel, I think the thing that we need to do is we need to go back to the Old Testament. And the Old Testament lays it out very easily. Because I want to tell you why there will always be an Israel. And if you go to Numbers chapter 34, it says, "Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Command the children of Israel and say to them, when you come into the land of Canaan, this is the land that shall fall to you as an inheritance, the land of Canaan to its boundaries. Your southern border shall be from the wilderness of Zin along the border of Edom. Then your southern border shall extend eastward to the end of the Salt Sea. Your border shall turn from the southern side of the ascent of Akrabim, continue to Zin, and be on the south of the Kadesh Barnea. Then it shall go to Hazar Adar and continue to Asmon. The border shall then turn from Asmon to the brook of Egypt, and it shall end at the sea. As for the western border, you shall have the great sea for a border, and this shall be your western border. And this shall be your northern border. From the great sea you shall mark out your borderline to Mount Hor. From Mount Hor you shall mark out your border to the entrance of Hamath. Then the direction of the border shall be towards Zedad. The border shall proceed to Ziphron, and it shall end at Hazar Enan. This shall be your northern border. You shall mark out your eastern border from Hazar Enan to Sepham. The border shall go down from Sepham to Riblah on the east side of the Ain. To the border shall go down and reach to the eastern side of the sea to Chinnereth. The border shall go down along the Jordan, and it shall end at the Salt Sea. This shall be your land with its surrounding boundaries. If God has ordained the state of Israel, there is nothing that man can do about it. There is nothing that man can say about Israel will be lost, because this is their boundaries. We need to understand it. It was established in international law. The state of Israel will exist and will continue to exist. We will make sure that it exists. But let me tell you what happened. In 70 AD, Emperor Hadrian invaded into what was called then Judea. And when the Romans conquered the Jewish people, they did not want that land to be called Judea. They changed it to Palestine. If you want to free Palestine, you give it back to the people who had it in the first place, the Jewish people. The nation of Israel has been in diaspora for too long. This is their land. We came together, United Nations Resolution 181. We came together and it was declared a state in April of 1948. And what happened in May of 1948? Immediately they were attacked by Egypt, by Syria, by Iraq, and by Lebanon. And they fought and they stood. And when I went to Israel, I went down to a place called Kibbutz Yad Mordechai. And at that place was a 6-day battle that the Egyptians thought would only be a couple of hours. But there's an epitaph there that says, as much as one can withstand, we withstood. That's the same spirit that the nation of Israel must have now. It's the same spirit that we should have standing here on the corner of Broward and 3rd Avenue. Because a year ago this day, 30 to 35 of us stood right across the corner. 300 some odd individuals, pro-Hamas, stood here. They did their evening prayers. And then they came and they charged us. And for those of you that were there, we withstood. When they thought that we would turn and run away, we said, it ain't happening. That dog don't hunt. Take your pro-Hamas butt and get the hell out of my country. It is not time for appeasement. It is not time for negotiation. It is not time for compromise. Every time we give them land, they want more. Every commission decision, from the 1937 Peel Commission all the way to the Oslo Accords, and just recently when Benjamin Netanyahu said, we will suspend settlements for 10 months, they said it's still not enough. You're dealing with an enemy that only wants one thing, and that is a return of the Holocaust. That's not happening as long as I have breath in my lungs. There will never be anything other than the nation of Israel that occupies these boundaries that are set in the words here that we have in the Bible and the Torah. Educate yourselves and let everyone understand that everyone over there, the land belongs to the Jewish people. And it was theirs, it was taken from them by the Romans in 70 AD. You want to do what's right? Give it back to the Jewish people. God bless you all. Thank you.